Hello, welcome everybody to another Premodern video. First of all, I would like to apologize for the significant decrease in the quality of both the audio and the video of this video, but I am in vacation in Argentina, as you can probably tell. We're right off into the semifinals and of the World Cup, the actual finals of the World Cup, never mind. And I have been actually had time to record some Premodern matches for you in this bi-weekly league. So we're going to be playing, and since I was playing the matches anyway, I figured might as well record them. So hopefully, even though the quality is going to be significantly worse than what you have probably grown accustomed to at this point, it's still pre-modern content, and hopefully you will enjoy it just the same. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be playing Deadguy Ale, or I guess some form of that, or black-white midrange, or however you want to call it. I actually had a discussion with some other people in the Discord, and I was asking basically all of the Deadguy Ales deck lists that I had seen seemed a little bit iffy, or like I didn't really like them. They were playing like 22, maybe sometimes 23 lands, and they were playing like 4 dark rituals and a couple of 4 copies of Hypnotic Spectre, which unfortunately does not seem like a particularly great card in the pre-modern format. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of take a different approach to the deck, and I wanted to see whether I could figure out a way to make a more mid-rangey deck than that one, because what people were saying was that the deck is more of a tempo deck, really, where you're just trying to get ahead on tempo and play like a turn 1 Arena or turn 1 Hypnotic Spectre. The problem is like that is very, very uncommon, I guess. Like you need to have like a basic land, which is not a given, like a Black Source on turn 1. Which is not a given when you're playing only 22 lands, and 4 of those lands are actual wastelands, which don't help you, or planes, which also don't help your Dark Ritual mana. Also, you need to have the Dark Ritual, and you need to have one of your 8 payoffs, one of which is very good. I do think that turn 1 Fire Action Arena is a fantastic play, but the other one is very underwhelming, particularly when the vast majority of the format has very easy outs to it. Like even a Lightning Bolt just kills it. Like like a freaking Source of Blushers. Like there's so many answers to Hypnotic Spectre. So I was not impressed by that part. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to see whether if I try an approach that goes more towards the mid range and a little bit less towards the tempo, whether I can have access to a better or a worse deck. And this is very, very much an experiment. I'm not saying that this is a better version of Deadguy Ale, at least not yet. And it's something that I just wanted to try out. So what you will see is 25 lands. And the question, by the way, like what made this pop into my head is the fact that all of the people that I saw playing Deadguy Ale, I would always hear the complaint that Deadguy Ale's mana base sucks, right? And that's true. That's very, very, very true. But people are not really doing themselves any favors either, right? So what I was thinking is, okay, the mana base sucks. What if I just try to do something about it? And that is kind of what I'm trying to do. So I'm playing 10 basic swamps, which is a lot of basic swamps. And then I'm playing 4 Caves of Koilos, 1 City of Brass, 4 basic planes, and then 2 copies of Tainted Field. This is the Tainted lands from Torment, which enter the battlefield on tap, and they tap for a colorless, but only either white or black if you control the swamp. And since there are no duels in this format, the swamp needs to be an actual literal swamp. We're also playing Wastelands, which again, I'm kind of looking at this like these are spells, and I'm just playing 21 lands with 4 Wastelands, right? And the Wastelands obviously help me cast my Arenas, my Vindicates, my Exalted Angels, but they're not really lands in my count, because they don't really cast the vast majority of my spells. So what are those spells then? Well, Fire Action Arena, this is the best card in the deck, bar none, and a very strong card to play towards. A bunch of deck lists that I had seen were only playing 3 of these, which I think is wild, particularly when you're doing the whole Dark Ritual thing. Like, this is exactly what you want every single turn, every single game, right? Like, this is your best start. Turn 1 Arena would be like the best possible thing. We don't have access to that here, but instead of rituals, we actually have access to more lands, which allow us to play Arena on 3 more reliably, and also more spells. So the removal spells that we're playing are going to be 4 Swords to Plowshares, one copy of Vendetta, which is 1 mana black removal spell. I'm playing Vendetta mostly because I want to be able to answer Goblin Lucky on the draw. So Goblin Lucky or Mother of Runes can be cards that are potentially problematic, and if we are on the draw, it's gonna be a nightmare for us to get rid of them. So then we have like a little bit of potpourri going on. We have one Diabolic Edict, one Smother, and one copy of Skeletal Scrying. These are kind of the one-offs. Skeletal Scrying obviously is a card advantage card for the control matchups. Adding these to the arena is a lot of hitting ourselves when we are also counting our Caves of Colors and City of Brass. So this may be a little bit of an issue in the end. Maybe I shouldn't be playing Scrying to begin with. I'm just kind of afraid of standstill style decks. Exalted Angel is the way that we are going to offset these arenas and Skeletal Scrying life and lost. So I'm playing the full 4 copies of the Angel. Also, it's one of my favorite cards of all time. So I just really wanted to see if I could play 4 Angels in this deck. We're also playing Verdict, Gerard's Verdict, which is a 2 mana, 2 for 1, which is nice. But also, you gain 3 life for each land that a player discards. But also, you can target yourself. So you can sandbag some lands, and you can actually use Gerard's Verdict as a way to gain some life. So you can outrace your own arena source crime. So that's pretty neat. We also have Vindicate, 3 mana, destroy any permanent. Great way to get rid of basic lands and kind of slow down your opponent. 4 copies of Reader Wretch, and this is where we get into the, how should I say, the shakiness of the deck. We don't really have that many strong creatures, particularly because we definitely want to have access to 2-drops, so that because we're not doing the Dark Ritual thing. And again, like, Hypnotic Spectre is terrible in my opinion. So this is actually a good card in this format. Widow Wretch is a pretty solid beater. Like, it's 2 mana 2/2, but like the exiling a card from the graveyard is just huge deal, because this kind of deck usually tends to struggle with graveyard strategies. We're also playing a couple of copies of Nantuko Shade, classic from way back in the day, and 1 Knight of Stronghold. I am doing a little split here because Nantuko Shade is better overall, just against the format as a whole, but a Knight of Stronghold is pretty good against white decks. There's like the Tribe deck, like a White Winnie style deck, and also this doesn't get Swords to Plowshares. On the other hand, this gets Lava Darted, which Nantuko Shade can survive if you just sandbag it and you always hold up the single black mana. So they both have their upsides and downsides, and it's like kind of like a little split that I'm doing here. I don't know if this is the correct split. I just want to be trying out the cards and see what's up. So that's the main deck that we're looking at. So obviously, I guess I didn't talk about 4 copies of the rest, but I probably don't need to talk about that. In the sideboard, we have who is who of good cards in black and white colors, which conveniently are one of the better sideboard card colors in the format. 2 copies of Circle of Protection Red. This is for Goblins. This is for Sly, and I would expect Sly to be a somewhat problematic matchup. 2 Disenchant, 2 Seal of Cleansing. Unclear which one's better. Disenchant is better for the surprise factor and also doesn't get got by your opponent's naturalizes or disenchants. So basically you are allowed to do stuff at instant speed, but not exposing the Seal of Cleansing, which your opponent, you're playing arenas, right? So your opponent will be potentially bringing in some naturalizes themselves. And then, if they're trying to save like a survival or something, they can just wait until they draw the naturalize. So they pop the Seal of Cleansing, and then they play their survival and they just go off, right? So doing a little split here. 1 copy of Vendetta, again, against Goblins, against Mom decks. Diabolic Edict as a way to get rid of big creatures, which we don't necessarily have great ways of answering besides Swords to Plowshares. An extra copy of Smother for your Quirion Rangers, your Psychotogs, etc. 2 copies of Mesmeric Fiend. This is almost exclusively against combo and control. So when we are removing our Swords to Plowshares or stuff like that, the Mesmeric Fiends are coming in. And the full 4 copies of Engineer Plague. This card is absolutely fantastic in this format. It's great against Goblins, great against Elves, great against a bunch of combo decks as well. Even against decks like Angry Hermit, you could arguably be bringing in Engineer Plague. Probably don't have to, but against the Devoured decks, against all of the Devoured decks, Plague is actually. So that's the deck that we're going to be looking at. Again, this is an experiment. I'm not certain that this deck is great. I'm not even sure whether it's good to begin with. But I just wanted to give it a shot. And what I've been doing is, since I've been brewing in the format, I've been just testing it in the league. So we're going to see how this one goes. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully you enjoy it as well. Again, sorry for the lack of quality, but hopefully you will enjoy it just the same. If you're interested in participating in this league, you can just check the description of the video down below where you can find all the information on how to do that. And also, if you would like to support my content, you can do so by using my sponsors services, that is MetaTraders and TCG Player. Also, you can find a discount while you're at it for MetaTraders as well. It's great to get your MetaTraders and then play some Premodern, right? And also, you can support my content through Patreon, through donations, where I can play any deck list of your choice with any donation of $30 or more. And finally, you can also book coaching if that's anything you're interested in. Without further ado, let's jump into some Premodern matches. All right, let's see how this goes. Well, this opener is obviously pretty awful, so let's ship it back. We got, what is this? Turn 2 Shade, turn 3 Arena. And I can send back the Scrying. Okay. It's not fantastic or anything, but if I find a white source, then I can be in good shape because I have some early interaction as well. Basic Forest into Birds of Paradise. Well, would love to find Caves of Coilus. Okay, I'll take a duress. So let's duress my opponent. Take the survival. That's big. That's really big. All right, so my opponent's hand is Seedborn Muse. This is not one you see every day. Second bird, which is what they play. Good. That's fine. You have a Maya Coast, which I can waste if I want to. And that's their draw for turn, which is just another birds. Withered Wretch is what I can play here. My opponent's got infinite mana, so this wasteland is not really doing anything. So the question is, I think I'd rather go for Wretch as opposed to Shade. It's going to hit basically just as well as the Shade, but it's also going to disrupt if my opponent has like a Squee or something. So because of that, I think it's going to be better. Opponent plays the Foothills and fetches, which is fine. Basic Mountain potentially can mean they got anger going on. Yeah, there's the Muse. Opponent's got a lot of mana, and I think I just have to, right? I think I just have to drop this Arena and hope that it's good. Yep. I just have to start trying to pull ahead. My opponent's got one single card in hand, nothing else going on. So if I can get this arena to do its thing, then I can be in good shape. This Seedborn Muse is potentially pretty scary. Okay, so Arena goes on the stack. Still no white man. I just can't believe. I just can't believe how people actually don't like they play an even worse mana base than I'm playing right now. I think I want to go for Shade because like this Diabolic Edict is not really doing anything, so I'd rather just like drop this Shade and hold on to this Wasteland in case my opponent finds Squee or something. I don't think it's particularly useful to like Wasteland them. Alternatively, I could have just edicted. I could have edicted one of these birds. I don't think that matters too much. We're gonna take 2 damage. That's fine. I think I'm gonna exile one card in the graveyard though. Might as well, I guess. Squee Goblin Nabob, just hardcast. You got it. Alright, so I'm gonna exile this survival, I guess. Untap. Arena. White source, please. More black mana. Got a bunch of cards in hand here that don't really do anything. I'm gonna send the turn back, I guess. And now my opponent can't attack anymore because I can just block with the Shade. I'm probably gonna Edict on end step though. 4 mana. Tradewind Rider. Okay. I really need to find something here. So I'm gonna Edict like that. They're gonna sack something, probably one of the birds. They just sack Squee. Okay. That's gone. That's also gone. Can I find the white source, please? White source one time. Going down to 13 here. Still no white source somehow. Still no white source. That's pretty wild. I am gonna wasteland now. The reason is like I just have too much mana that I'm not using. And let's play the knight. We can still block the Seedborn Muse, so that's not particularly scary. Tradewind Rider is kind of beating though. Is gonna start to be able to bounce my stuff. That's a Cradle. I feel very sad now that I wastelanded this stupid Yamamaya Coast. Guess not very smart of me, I guess. They're gonna bounce the arena, I imagine, yeah. Yeah, that's brutal. All I have to do is draw a white source and I'm gonna be in really good shape. I just plow the Tradewind Rider and we start doing some stuff and some things. But my opponent's gonna get to double and tap here. Oh my god. I mean, I have to replay the arena just so I play something for my opponent to bounce. Like we're not in good shape here. We're not in good shape at all. Yep. Any white source and we just single-handedly win the game. But oh wow, that's kind of sick actually. Okay, they're not gonna pay for Echo. There's no way they don't pay for Echo. Yeah, it's just free for them to do that. So, all right. I guess they're not attacking, so I guess I might as well pump this Shade. That mana's gonna go to waste anyway, so it's a lot of mana for Wall of Roots, which is even more mana. Can I please draw a white source? Untap. White source. Yes. 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 Oh my god. Are we gonna get there? Yeah, I'm just gonna replay the arena. And I'm gonna force my opponent to bounce something with the Rider. And then I'm gonna plow it. Alright, so they bounce the arena. I plow the Rider. Bounce resolves, and now they untap. But now we're gonna be in fine shape. We're finally gonna be able to deploy this arena. It's gonna stick. Oh, Deranged Hermit. It's a pretty good draw. It's a pretty good draw. We can kill it. It's a draw that goes pretty wide. We did exile Squee already. So if I wanted to, I could just trade this Withered Wretch. No, but they have Anger still, right? So I'd rather just... I think I'm just taking it here. Just gonna take it, Vindicate. Okay, so if I Vindicate, I can kill what? Can kill the Muse? Probably better to kill the Hermit. Alternatively, I can just go Exalted Angel, Morphed. Yeah, one card in hand, probably nothing too relevant, so I don't think this Gerard's Verdict's doing anything. But the good thing is that if I go for this, now I can block one more Squirrel, and I can potentially threaten to flip this if I find another white source. So I think this is good. Like this allows the Knight to block. Also, it forces my opponent to like pay for the Echo, right? 3, 4, 5. So now my opponent's paying for Echo. That's fine. Another bird. That's fine. But they don't really have good attacks. I mean, they have attacks. They just get blown out, right? So now if they attack like this, I just block, 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 eat 3 squirrels, take 3, because I plowed the Deranged Hermit. So block, block, and is there any difference to blocking with the first strike one or to blocking with the one that gets pumped by 1? I think this is better. So block like that, say okay, plow the Hermit, give first strike, resolve, kill a bunch of dudes, untap, Caves of Koilos. So this means I get to morph the Exalted Angel, which is pretty good. I could also verdict the Seedborn Muse, but Seedborn Muse is not really doing anything until my opponent finds Anger. I kind of want to have a 4/5 flyer though, so I think we're gonna go for that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Flip. We're gonna attack with Angel. We're gonna lifelink for 4. I guess it's not lifelink. It's a trigger, which is funny. Old school. This helps me stabilize, and now I'm a little bit closer to taking over. And then next turn I can actually deploy the arena, which is nice. Opponent's drawing infinite mana. Alright. Not doing anything. Another arena. I think I'm gonna play the other arena. So let's go to combat. Angel's gonna get in the red zone. Get in there, Angel. Is there any reason to vindicate their cradle? I don't think so. But I think I'm gonna vindicate the Seedborn Muse. And then play the arena. And now we're gonna ship it back. There's an argument for not playing the arena, so I can hold up Withered Wretch in case my opponent does draw survival and they have an anger turn of some kind. Gilded Drake. Okay, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Hopefully we find an answer. I mean, I guess the worst case scenario, we just play a 6-drop Angel. And the Angels are gonna bounce off of each other. I think that's my best line. Yeah, I think so. All my other options are not particularly great. So, just gonna play an Angel, and I think I'm gonna attack with the Drake. Might as well. I guess I should have done that in the opposite order. Doesn't really matter. Can't believe it's turn 13 already. Feels like this game's been going on forever. Okay, so Arena, do your thing. Hey, that is the thing. Plowio the Angel. Get in there. I guess the Knight is also getting in there. Or the Shade. Yeah, I think actually the Knight is better to attack. No, actually it's not. Yeah, that's right. Whoops. Yeah, that was a bad attack with the Knight. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Oh wow, they're just throwing away a squirrel? Okay. So let's give some first strike over there. So that's fine. Then we gain some life. I think I'm playing another Shade. And I kind of want to play another... Oh, let's actually just Verdict here. Yeah, this is great. This is just great. So whatever they're holding on to over there, Auramancer and Octavia Orangutan. Yeah, okay. Well, good thing that I exiled the survival like however many turns ago. Oh, wow. And they top deck the survival too? Well, that was a sick Gerard's Verdict then. Wow. All right. Clearly playing great over here. Playing perfect and getting rewarded handsomely. I think we're just going to start right-click attacking all at this point. And force my opponent into some awkward trades. I imagine they're going to block Granger on the Wretch. Oh, interesting. Okay. Alright, so going to pump here. Pump here again. Pump here one more time. And then we're going to pump here twice. So my dude survives. And then they're going to take 5. Go down to 2. All my stuff survives. We pass the turn back. And we have multiple Wretch activations and then 2 co-activations. Oh, I forgot to give first strike to the Knight. Not that it mattered, but... Alright. Let's make this a little bit cleaner. And playing on a laptop sure is a different experience. Okay, so... What do I care about? I think I want Vendetta. I don't think I want Scrying. Definitely want Disenchants. But probably not Seal of Cleansings. Diabolic Edict kind of sucks, but Smother seems fine. Probably don't want Mesmeric Fiend. Man, that Duress ended up being huge. No, yeah, I still want the Duresses because it's probably going to be important to get rid of the survival early in the game. Knight of Stromgald kind of sucked there. Pro White not really doing anything at all. Swords, fantastic. Vendetta's great. Disenchant. Maybe I want more Disenchant effects in Seal of Cleansing. Could potentially cut a Swamp on the draw. maybe a Wasteland even. Big fan of the Wretch, medium fan of the Shade, huge fan of the Arena. This is probably fine. I kind of want Mesmeric Fiends though. So let's get Fiends in there over Verdict. Probably not. I don't think I want to cut too many shades. Like, I still need to win the game somehow, right? I guess I'm just gonna not bring in the Fiends. We're gonna go with this. Could see myself cutting a land on the draw. Maybe that's what I should be doing. Oh, this hand looks perfect. This hand's an absolute banger. Great mana, removal, some good stuff. Some good stuff. I even have removal for potential. Ooh, that's like the best possible draw. That's awesome. So now we kill the elf here. Take one, doesn't probably matter too much. Let's see what my opponent's got. Maybe they have survival. If they do, then I'm gonna happily disenchant their Wall of Blossoms. This means I get to deploy. Ooh, that's nice. My opponent could have Squee in hand. I'm probably still doing this anyway. With the wall in play, I'm not gonna get this shade across for a while. So sure, if my opponent's got Squeeze, that sucks for me, but it is what it is. Huh, Spike Feeder is an interesting one. Also Symbiote. I guess they were bringing in the Symbiote to sort of combo with, what's his name? Huh. Well, I'm definitely going for Arena here. It's between Arena and Angel, but I get super blown out if I Angel and my opponent just drakes me. So I think I'd rather go for this. They do have White Source in case they have, so they may have Monk Realist. Vindicate. Yeah, we're blowing up that land. Definitely blowing up that land. So I'm not going for blowing up the mountain too, but I'd rather, I'm going to be killing this bird now. Bonus down to 2 cards in hand. If I draw Gerard's Verdict, I'm going to be feeling very good about my spot. That draw kind of sucks, because I can't double spell this turn unless my opponent just plays a survival here. I really would like to kill this mountain, because I really doubt that my opponent's got a second one. But I think I need to be mana efficient here and actually Vindicate the Versa Paradise, which is a pretty bad use of my mana, I think. Wall of Roots is kind of fine. Alright, Arena, do your thing. Another White Source, which doesn't help me too much. Here I can actually double spell, which is nice. So I can go Vendetta and Vindicate the Mountain, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm taking a bunch of damage from killing this Wall of Roots. I'm going to go down to 9, then to 8 with the Arena, but I'm going to try to use this Exalted Angel to get me there. So I think this is fine. Yep, excellent. So now I'm going to probably... I guess I have time, so let's just... I can just wait. Oh no, actually I'm going to double spell, never mind. So we're going to morph 1, 2, 3, and just play a Wretch and pass it back. And we are looking pretty good here, unless my opponent somehow like cybered into some like lightning bolt action. I'm feeling pretty comfortable in this spot. They got a bunch of Wall of Blossoms, but they don't really do anything. Cradle. Alright. That's a nasty core, which I can just disenchant. Any land will do it. Yep, that's just great. So they can't regen now, so I'm just going to white, colorless, disenchant the Masticore now that they can't regenerate. Whoops, actually I don't need to take that extra damage. My bad. Flip this. Pass. Swing for 4. Gain 4. Things looking decent. 5 mana. Seedborn Muse. Don't think that does anything. Arena, do your thing. Boom. And once again, Arena does its thing. Swing for 4. Crazy Angel getting there. Do I even care about this Seedborn Muse, like, at all? I don't think I do. I think I'd rather just hold on to the Swords to Plowshares. I think so. I'm gonna play a second Wretch, though. I could play second Arena. Maybe playing second Arena is better than playing second Wretch. It's close. Boom! Got there. The better that guy L. Okay, so what do we got here? Interesting. I guess it doesn't have too much action, right? I wonder if I was considering this, like if I should be playing fetch lands to enable. It's just a singleton, skeletal scrying, so probably not worth having a fetch land for. I think I'm gonna mulligan, like not having removal being on the draw. This hand's great. I think I'm gonna bottom this mother. It's interesting, right? Because my opponent could be playing a meddling mage deck, and if they are, then it's obviously much better for me to bottom the Swords to Plowshares. But an interesting thing is that I actually, if my opponent goes turn 1 Lackey, I don't have a removal spell for it. That's a Mog Fanatic. Okay, that one I can beat. It's less problematic. All right. We got Swords to Plowshares. Now we know. So turn 1 Mog Fanatic could be either Sly or actual Goblins. So I imagine we'll see soon enough. Fanatic gets in there. Second Mountain. And Pile Driver. Well, now we know. So because of this, I think I am supposed to just pass the turn here because I'm going to just plow the Pile Driver. There's an argument for just... I'm just going to kill the Pile Driver. So the issue that I have here is that if I go with Wretch, it means that my opponent can't attack, which is great. But then if they go Gem Palm into... what's his name, I'm actually in a lot of trouble, right? They just cycle a Gem Palm and I don't have a removal spell. So now what I can do is I can play another Tainted Field and I can just play out the Withered Wretch so I can block the Fanatic while still holding Swords to Plowshares for the War Chief. Actually, I want to plow the War Chief right now. So if my opponent's actually missing land drops, they can't cast a Ringleader. And next turn, we can deploy an Arena, which should be nice. Unless my opponent's got they got Ringleader. Okay, that's obviously pretty good for them. And they drew the Casual Draw 3. Just an Ancestral. No big deal. No big deal. I'm not gonna block because this is holding the Mog Fanatic at bay. So, yeah, let's just play basic Swamp. And I'm just going to play this Arena here, which is kind of not great. Like, I'm actually under a pretty decent amount of pressure. But I need to start drawing cards to keep up with my opponent's card advantage. So the play from my opponent here is to Matron for Gem Palm. Like, them continuing to hit the land drops is obviously the best possible thing for them. Great choice of basic forest art from my opponent. So yeah, so here goes the Matron. Not great choice on the actual Goblins, but their basic forest art at some point. Just kidding. Obviously, you can play whatever you want. Siege Gang, interesting. Instead of going for Gem Palm, they already have Gem Palm in hand. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is just brutal. So I guess I can just draw exactly Angel. If I draw exactly Exalted Angel, I can potentially win this game. I guess I don't even want to cast it right now. So we're going to take one more. We're at a virtual 12, 11. Let's see what we draw. Another Wretch and a land. Alright, so we're just going to cast the cards that we have. And just hope that next turn's Arena is a little bit better than this one. I mean, I can still draw an Angel, though. Like, if I do find an Angel, I'm going to be in kind of good shape. I guess that's not really true, because my opponent has a bunch of Goblins at this point, and they can just Matron into... that's so much stuff. So I think I just have to... I'm just dead here. I can't possibly win. But I think I have to trade with Ringleader. Do I have to trade with Ringleader? No, I mean, I'm just going to block the Fanatic. Like, if my opponent makes this attack, I'm just going to block the Fanatic. Yeah, I'm just going to block the Fanatic so the Lackey doesn't get through, basically. I guess they can just play a second Fanatic, but if they want to trade 2 Fanatics from my Withered Wretch, that's a fine deal for me. Because that also means that they don't actually cast this Lackey. So I'm just going to eat their graveyard because I can, but I don't think this matters at all. I don't think if they're splashing green for for naturalize, I really doubt that they're also splashing black for what's the name of the card? Patriarch's Beating. That'd be good though. That would be fun. Good old Goblin Beating. All right, what do we got here? Angel? Nope. Yeah, that's probably enough for me. Let's get those Engineer Plagues into this deck. Yep, 4 of them. You saw that right. We're gonna cut the Duresses and bring in the Copperheads. Diabolic Edict sounds terrible. Smaller seems fine. And then Tuco Shades and Knight of Stronghold seem terrible. Just X1s. Maybe the Shade, because I kind of need to win the game, and I only have 8 ways of winning the game, so I guess I'm kind of forced into keeping the Shade in there, and I can just cut one of the Scrines. This looks pretty decent though. Like I have a very solid defensive line over here, and funnily enough, because my opponent has so many like multiple card advantage cards, Gerard's Verdict is kind of always going to be online, which is funny. Because you wouldn't imagine, oh yeah, the tribal deck is exactly where you want your Verdict. Well, in this case, it kind of is. In this specific case, it kind of. But yeah, Wretch, I'm just keeping it because it's a 2-mana 2. That's literally where it is. Okay, what do we got here? Arena. So we can go turn 2 Wretch, turn 3 Arena, or Exalted Angel. Okay. I have 4 Plagues, so I'm just going to keep any 7 that does anything at all. And then I'm just gonna turn 3 this arena and hope that it's good. The good thing is that my opponent's not gonna be able to lucky on 2. Like it's not gonna be able to connect because I have a 2/2. Okay, we gotta Vindicate. I'm definitely gonna arena on 3 as opposed to playing an Exalted Angel. We go Mountain and then Pile Driver. All right, I'm still in the same boat. I'm just going to play arena here to dig towards some white sources or some. I'm just playing 2/2 tribal over here. White sources and Engineer Plague are obviously the draws that I'm looking forward here. I'm looking forward. So my opponent could cycle Gem Palm and kill the Wretch, and that would be pretty bad for me. But I doubt they have that many Gem Palms anyway. Goblin King. Okay. Am I trading for a Prospector? Probably am. It makes it harder for my opponent to block with Pile Driver. Like it's not great, but it makes the Pile Driver worse and it makes my arena better. It's a swamp that doesn't do anything and another arena. All right, that's not great. I'm gonna play a 2/2 just so my opponent can't freely attack with this Goblin King. I'm really feeling the whole Deadguy has a bad mana base kind of deal, you know? Really feeling it right here. What am I looking for? Arena? Not Arena. Engineer Plague, Vendetta. What else? Smother. At this point, Plague doesn't even do that much. Because my opponent still has Goblin King in play. I imagine they're going to fetch a basic forest here. They already have their red. Yeah, they already have their red mana covered. And if they draw naturalized, they can stop a Plague. So we're going to take a pretty healthy amount of damage here. Let's see what they drew. Just drawing 3. Yeah, the Goblins deck is just so strong. I probably can't afford to block here. I just have to take 7, which is obviously not great. Let's see if I can find a white source. Still looking for a Plague. Wasteland doesn't do anything. And what? Caves of Goylus. A painful white source. Perfect. I mean, I still have to Vindicate here, the Goblin King. And I guess I'm gonna have to trade with a Pile Driver, because I can't just take 5. And then at that point, what am I drawing towards? Nothing. I don't think I'm really drawing towards anything at that point. Yeah, I'm just dead here. Yep, that's actual dead. All right, GG's. Match number 3, here we go. This hand has great mana, spells that I can cast and that do stuff. This hand's great. Also a pretty nice and proactive land destruction game plan, so I'm into this. I'm into this. Also, look at this beautiful painless mana. Mwah. Opponent moves to 6. We're just gonna go Swamp Go. Basic Island into Black Vice. Okay. So that's interesting. I guess I'm gonna Verdict now, even though my opponent can daze me, but the reason is that if they daze this, they don't daze to Vindicate. So this seems fine. We are playing against Stasis. They discard Thwart and Powder Keg. So Wasteland's probably not gonna do too much, which sucks. It's fine. I'm gonna take another point, which is okay. I'm gonna play Wretch, I think, because my opponent missed the land drop. And they didn't daze last turn, but now I actually have a clock. So now it's kind of free for me to play around daze here, which is nice. Yeah, no, things are looking good here. My opponent's gonna need to have a way to counter this Vindicate, otherwise the game's just gonna end. Arena versus Black Vice. I'm gonna cast it though. I'm obviously gonna Vindicate first, because my opponent can only really foil here, and if this resolves, then they're gonna be in very serious trouble. Let's see if this. Yep, opponent just concedes. All right, so all these removal spells, out with them. So Venetta's out, Disenchants, Seal of Cleansings, Mesmeric Fiend. All of these I like, and then Diabolic Edict can go. And I think this is how I want to go about things. Literally every card in my sideboard is either a removal spell or I guess I'd rather have like Edict instead of Smother, but like, I don't know, maybe they have some crazy creature or whatever, but realistically it just doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe they have like Morphling or whatever. They sideboard into Morphling, that would be pretty sick. Stasis sideboard into Morphling, get them. But this seems like a pretty fine setup, honestly. Like, we got Duresses, we got Fiends, we got like an actual clock. So I only have one dead card, really. Game 2. And this is a hand that kind of does stuff. It draws cards, which is not like the best thing to be doing. I really wish I had access to a Duress. That's like the only thing that this hand is missing. Oh, okay. So we're gonna get to hit our land drops, but maybe not doing too much with them. Boomerang my land. Okay. Duress. Okay. That's fine. I think I'm just gonna discard Skeletal Scrying. Actually, I might just discard an Arena here. No, I'm just gonna discard the Scrying. Arena is actually kind of potentially can be good. Draws me into lands and answers. That's a kind of annoying boomerang. It was actually a 1-for-1 boomerang, which is funny. Usually it's just a tempo play, but in this case it actually did something. Alright, here is a Mesmeric Fiend. Let's take a look at that hand, or just hardcast the Daze. Yeah, just hardcast the Daze, that's fine. Oh, they ended up bouncing land. Huh. Just to Impulse? Alright. It's kind of weird. Just realized how bad Vindicate is in the face of Gush. Really hoping that I draw a black source, and if I do, I think I am playing the Wretch. I guess even if I'm not, I'm just gonna play Exalted Angel instead of Vindicate. Maybe. So they pass the turn, Verdict. Yeah, I like that one. This plays around Daze very nicely, so now it forces like an actual counterspell from my opponent's hand. They Gush. Okay. Which is kind of good for me in a way, because it means that it's less likely that they have a second Gush, which makes my Vindicate better. They Daze. Well, I'm definitely paying for this. And I know that this probably means that there's a Stasis in my future, but I'm definitely paying for that. Like, if they want a double Daze to here, that's fantastic. Yep. Discarding an island and a Chain of Vapor. That's fine. I'll take it. I mean, they just can't, they simply cannot Stasis me here. Because like the Stasis just dies on their upkeep. So I'm not loving that Daze right there. It's kind of another one, right? Okay, so what do we do here? I actually think this Wasteland has a pretty decent amount of value, because my opponent can't have like the 45 whatever. Do I want to Vindicate? Vindicate does get countered by what's his name. So what I can do is I can just play like a wretch here, just to have a clock going. Alternatively, I can just let's actually just play the morphed angel. I'm probably not gonna flip it for a while. Probably not gonna flip this angel for a while, but I think it's fine. There's an argument for playing the arena, just so I can start hitting my land drops. I haven't missed a land drop just yet. One of my lands was actually boomerang, so... But yeah, I'm probably not going to be flipping this angel for quite a bit. Island number 3. 3 mana for propaganda. Okay. Fine. Another swamp is nice. I think I vindicate the propaganda. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a weird art for propaganda. They can counter here if they want, but if they do, I'd probably still plane out one of the... I guess they can thwart or not. Okay. Gonna move on to combat. Attack with Angel. And second main, I guess I'm playing the Wretch. It doesn't matter, like these are just like random 2 mana 2/2s. These are just bears. If they daze this, I'm ecstatic. Extremely happy. They don't. It resolves. So if they stasis here, how bad is it for me? Not super bad, but it's not great either. Hitting land drops is big. Love hitting land drops. Swing. Swing for 4. Gonna keep up the pressure, I think. I'm just gonna leave up the wasteland. Foil. Sounds good. And now we arena. Nicely playing around these. Oh, they thwart. And they set themselves super behind. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be flipping this angel this turn. And then we're gonna have a 3-turn clock. Okay. End step, exile the gush, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing it because it's free. Might as well do something with it. Verdict is kind of great, I guess. It's better than flipping. Is it better than flipping angel? Let's think about this for a second. So, if I attack with both of these, that's going to be 4 damage. Opponent goes down to 10. Then next turn we swing for 4 again. I think the problem is I get super blown out by something like a boomerang, right? Because if I get boomeranged, then yeah, I think I'm just gonna verdict here instead to play around another boomerang effect or like a snap or something. Yeah, I think so. It's kind of awkward, but I think it's better. Alternatively, what I could do is I could just pass the turn, not casting verdict. And actually, this is interesting. So let's just pass the turn. My opponent can snap me now if they want to, but what I can do is I can flip the angel at the end of my opponent's turn, which basically guarantees that Stasis doesn't do it. And it forces my opponent to use the boomerang mana on the following turn. And if they do something like play Stasis, we can just like not flip the angel. But now we flip this, and I guess I might as well exile some good stuff. Boom, boom. Now we got a 2-turn clock in play. Another land is fine. Move to combat. Swing for 6. Hey, I knew it. I knew that they had something. So I'm going to say cancel. They're going to take 2. And now I'm going to verdict. And it still doesn't change the clock, right? So we're going to verdict here. We're going to see if they counter this. I doubt they will. Okay. And now we're going to cast with more. Yeah. They discarded 2 lands there. It means that they're down to 2 cards. We have no cards in hand, which is good against my opponent's Black Vice game plan. Now here we're going to be able to do the same thing. So we're going to attack with both of these. And like this Wasteland has been doing so much work. My opponent did actually have the Forsaken City. They literally could not play it because I've always been keeping up this Wasteland. It's kind of funny actually if you think about it, how like the Wasteland is kind of a big deal versus the Mono Islands deck, but like their only non-island card is so important for their lock that just worked out like this. It's pretty funny. So let's exile stuff because there's no reason for me to blow this up right now. So Just gonna exile their things because I can. Now I get to untap. And this doesn't change the clock. So I get to untap and see what's up. We get to attack, swing, and no blocks. Now we wasteland the Forsaken City. Maybe we should have done it on attacks instead of done it on blocks. Yeah, maybe that was better. Because now they get to float the mana. 2 mana, maybe they thwart or something? Oh, boomerang. Okay, that's fine. Oh, Arcane Denial, counter their own thing. Oh, this is kind of cool. Alright. So they counter their own thing and then they draw 3. That's the plan. So that means I'm going to flip this. And now that's going to be 6 damage. They go down to 2. And then I play another Wretch. And then that should... Even if they stasis me, we just win. That's cool. I actually have never seen this before. So now my opponent's going to draw 3 cards. Plus their card for turn. So if they draw exactly like... Stasis. They need to draw like exactly Stasis plus a Forsaken City and Boomerang, and they still cannot keep up with the Stasis. So I think that we got them here. But even if they Stasis, they just die to this Wretch attack. Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, okay. Now they're dead. Now they are actually dead. That was interesting. That was actually a pretty interesting match. That was cool. That was very cool. But I think we got this one locked up. Oh, I guess Snap plus Stasis was the way out there. But yeah, this Stasis just... Not that it really would have mattered before either, but yeah, sweet, got there. See you next round. Alright, this hand looks pretty decent. Let's see what's up. We got removal, we got hand disruption, we got arena. Kind of have a little bit of everything. I think I'm playing against the combo deck if I'm not mistaken. So... a creature combo deck, because I was watching the match that that my opponent was playing while I was waiting for us to get paired up. So I told him that I'm also playing some Deadguy Ale variant. All right, so turn 1, we can hold up Source of Plowshares, which is pretty nice. If my opponent plays some part of the combo, we can just get rid of it. That's just as good a part of the combo as any. Just get rid of that. And I think I want a Verdict onto, as opposed to Widow Wretch. And the reason for this is that right now my opponent really has a tougher choice. Like, once they have their mana established, then things are going to be a little bit easier for them. They just discard whichever lands they have. But in this case, like, yeah, they need to choose whether to discard either a land or some form of combo piece. Okay, so there's the Starlit Sanctum. So they're just playing life. So... if they have another one of these, they just gain infinite life and I lose. So I think I'm just going to pass the turn here. And I guess that I just have to kill their thing in response. Okay, so I'm just going to plow the Darrow Spiritualist here, which is the part of the combo that I'm scared of. And if I get to resolve... if I get to draw land, I mean, then we resolve the arena, but that's just not the case. Good thing I'm playing 25 lands, you know? That's kind of a problem. That is kind of a problem. So I guess we're going to be attacking here. Duress. Perfect. So now we are in a lot of trouble. So I'm going to need to find like a Vindicate to blow this up. Okay, so there's a land. So I'm not going to attack, obviously, because my opponent's got the Mom active, but I'm going to drop Arena here. My opponent has they have a card in hand, but I'm going to hold on to these Duress until I can make sure that I'm going to be hitting something. I think that it's possible that they have one of these, spells. Okay, so now they can start pumping this, but they can only do it twice. So I'm going to be looking for some form of removal. Wasteland is pretty nice. So let's... do I want to Duress here? Because I can just play Exalted Angel, which I think I want to. So we can blow up the land here. And this land is not legendary, so it doesn't really change anything. But I'm going to play an Angel. I could be playing Phyrexian Arena, but I think that if I draw a white source, I want to try to clock them to end the game as quickly as I can. Lightning bolt my angel. That sucks. But it's not the end of the world. Interesting. So they're gonna give me that pro black. Swing for 6. Okay. That is something. Oh, the 6 swing for 9. That's a 2-turn clock. That's kind of aggressive, because now I draw a Vindicate, I just kill this. We go back to the Stone Age. Yeah, that's a Vendetta, that also does it. So here's a Duress. Gonna start there. Source to Plowshares. Yeah, that's fine. Gain 2. Duress obviously fizzles, but it's not a big deal. And now I just... I guess I'm just gonna Vendetta this thing. Skills equals to the toughness. So... I guess that I actually want to play... Yeah, I'm just going to play the Exalted Angel Morphed because my opponent can't give this protection. Because otherwise I'm just going to take a pretty significant amount of damage. And I'm really hoping that this arena can get me there. That's pretty neat, actually. This thing grows pretty quickly. That was a 2-turn clock right there. So here I can just... Can I just block? So if I block... I mean, it's a force block because otherwise I just like my own arena, right? But they're gonna... They can't give this pro colorless. That's not what Mom does. So they can switch power and toughness, and then they can do the thing. Okay. So now it's gonna be a 6-1, and then we just trade? Well, that's very good for me. That is extremely good for me. Alright, pass it back. Benevolent Bodyguard. Okay. So what are we doing here? I think I have to pass it back. They can... Oh, they attack? Oh, that's so good for me. So we're going to Vendetta. They're going to give protection from black. And then I'm going to plow. They only take 1. And this is fantastic, because now we traded 1 for 1 every single one for removal spells, which is exactly what we want to be doing. That's a Smother, which is nice. So Wasteland there. And pass the turn back. And now I just have to basically raise my own arena. I'm kind of low on threats. Low on Exalted Angels, which are my lifelink creature of choice. Let's see what we got here. Verdict. Okay, so now I guess if I draw lands, I can just discard them to Verdict to gain some extra points. It's pretty annoying. Okay, Diabolic Edict does it. So I guess I'm just going to Vindicate here. So I can save the Diabolic Edict for one of their threats. Barring a Lightning Bolt, I should be in okay shape, I think. Nantuka Shade is nice, so... Duress you. Celestial Gatekeeper. Wow, that's a card, I guess. And pass it back. Celestial Gatekeeper. What a card. Okay, so they have the Task Force, which is just Edict, which is... That's a land, so... Edict you. I want to hold on to this land to discard to the Verdict. So I think I'm going to Vindicate one of the planes. I swing for 2 here. But I basically can't have my opponent resolve the Celestial Gatekeeper, because I don't have a Source to Plowshares good to go. They got a Bodyguard. Hopefully we find a couple of lands here, so I can gain 6. Fantastic. So Verdict, myself, discarding 2 lands, gain 6. We're gonna swing first for 2. See if my opponent blocks. They don't, which makes sense. Then we're gonna play Wretch, and this is how this goes. Just exchanging over and over again. Another Bodyguard. That's fine. But this arena obviously is doing a lot of work for us. Duress, Source to Plowshares. So we're going to attack with Shade. I'm going to pump times 3. This is going to be a 3-turn clock. And they obviously don't have a good attacks. Probably can't beat Lightning Bolt, but we got everything else. Alright, so they play Nomad Sinkhorn, pass the turn back. It's a basic swamp. That's a good draw. Gonna make this same exact attack as last time. Gonna do some pumping. Pump. And starting next turn, we're gonna start forcing. Okay, so they find land. We have perfect information. Don't have good attacks. We're racing this arena pretty nicely. So if we find Girard's Verdict, we're gonna be in good shape. We can also just like plow our own thing now. Okay. Block and pump. Boom. Pass it back. I'm surprised that my opponent traded their thing. I think they could have saved it. So I guess if I plow now, they have a force jump. And then I have lethal next turn. And I win if I find any removal spell. So with any removal spell, we're good to go. Skeletal's crying. So I guess we lose to a top deck lightning bolt. Because I don't have the Source of Plowshares anymore. So maybe it was better for me to just chill. Because now my opponent can top deck lightning bolt, and we would be significant amount of trouble. Shade kind of doing work here. That is not it, I don't think. It's another land. Chump block. Block there. Pass it back. And now their things are not... So they can draw exactly lightning bolt and play it with their one basic. Yeah, now Gatekeeper doesn't do it. Because they just block here and they take 2. What a game. Winning on the last possible turn. It's kind of great. Okay, so Engineer Play looks fantastic. Getting rid of all of those mums and all that stuff. Diabolic Edict seems fine. Smother seems great. And I guess I want Vendetta as well. The Vindicates are going to be a little bit awkward. Knight of Stronghold would have been sick this game, actually. Would have made things a lot easier. So we can cut a couple of Withered Wretches and a couple of Duresses and call it a day. Shout out to Girard's Verdict for gaining 7 life. Verdict, Vindicate, and we have the dreaded Tainted Field that doesn't tap for black mana. Probably keep this hand. Basic Plains, no odds and core. It's an Exalted Angel. So they could go 1, 2, 3 here. Just combo me out. Alright. So that's Infinite Toughness, which obviously doesn't do too much, but if they find one of the remaining pieces, that's a black source, and here is Girard's Verdict. So hopefully this does it, or this disrupts them well enough. If they gain infinite life, I think I just concede. That does not. Take 2. Now we play Tainted Field, and they missed the land drop, but I think that I'm going to play Exalted Angel. I'm going to try to go to town. I think I want to try to race in this scenario. So hopefully what they're missing is not the red source. So I guess I have to block this thing, huh? But then if they block, they trade, which is fine. Oh no, because they just activate again. So this is basically an infinite creature, if I'm not mistaken. But only, I mean, it means that they have to use the card. It means that they have to actually use the card that flips it. So this is fine. So they activate a bunch of times. Oh, this is a cleric. Okay, so this is actually just lethal then. Okay. So they just flip power and toughness. I thought this... So the other one of these two works for just the one creature, while this one works for any cleric, and this is actually cleric. Okay. Okay. Do we care for Mesmeric Fiend? I think this is fine. I'm just gonna do this again. Let's be on the play, and now we have a bunch of removal, including an Edict, Smother. Yeah, this is fine. Play a black source, and opponent plays a basic mountain and passes it back. Okay. So here's a Verdict. Would definitely love to draw something here. Arena is probably my best draw, since my opponent has no pieces of the combo in play right now, so because of that, this card is City of Brass and Lightning Bolt. Vindicate. Yep. It's gonna go after the white source. Particularly with my opponent skipping land drops and discarding lands to Girard's Verdict, right? They were probably not counting on me destroying one of their bases. And now they don't have white mana. Ooh, that's a sick draw. Alright, Arena. This card is so awesome. This card is so freaking awesome. Yep. Just Deadguy Ale doing Deadguy Ale things. Although I don't know if I'm allowed to call this deck Deadguy Ale. Yeah, I'm just gonna name Human with this. And pass it back. This game starting to look pretty locked up. I just have to find a win condition. Sure, let's start duressing a little bit. Definitely taking Lightning Bolt. And I guess I'm gonna take Arc Lightning as well. Human. Perfect. Do I want to do res? I don't think so. Guess we'd rather just sit here and wait on the duress until I have something that I want to protect. Passes it back. Arena keeps drawing cards. Exalted Angel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to duress the plow right now. And this is tough, right? Because if I draw any land, I can just hardcast the Exalted Angel and blank the Arc Lining. But if my opponent doesn't draw a land in this coming turn, yeah, I'm just gonna chill. Because if they draw a land, they just kill my angel, which is obviously a blowout. So I think I'd rather just pass the turn and just hope to draw any land at all, and I would just straight up hardcast the angel, which blanks the Arc Lining. And again, like I could be attacking with the angel in this turn, but you know, I think this is better. White, red, colorless, play task force. Okay, that's a land. We're gonna go after the... I guess if I don't get greedy, there's just no way for me to lose. So why would I get greedy, right? So let's Diabolic... Actually, let's Smother here. The reason to Smother is because it doesn't matter. The toughness doesn't matter. And I also... if they find like the big flyer, the edict kills it. I'm just gonna go after City of Brass here. Now we start gaining some life to offset the arena. This game is just over. I have too many resources. Arena just did its thing. Fire Action Arena just doing its thing. So 4, game 4, play another angel. Still hold up Swords to Plowshares. Game's over. All right, 3-1. Feels good. All right, here we go with the last match. I think we keep this. We'd love to have a removal spell or like a duress. We're playing against Cyberpunker, who is one of the most notable Blue-Green Madness players in the league. Very, very good player. We're gonna... Wither Wretch is pretty good against Madness. Wasteland's probably decent as well. It's a basic island into Careful Study. That's good for him. Pretty good for him. But I think I'm just going to play my stuff on Curve. So we get to play Wretch this turn, which is a nice little blocker. I get Dazed here, but if I get Dazed, yeah, sucks. But at the same time, my arena's that much more likely to resolve. All right, so the Rootwalla's getting in there, and the island makes it. Okay, so I think I'm going to play out the Wasteland. It shows that I have a Wasteland, but like, if he has a land, he kind of has to play it, so... Arena Resolving is good for Basic Forest. Okay. So, if... I think I'm going to blow up... Like, if he pumps, I'm just going to blow up the Basic Forest, I think. MTGO is super laggy right now. Duress, Plowshares. There's not great news, but I'm still gonna duress my opponent here. They could have survival. Foil, Frantic Search. Am I just dead here? I may just be dead, actually. I think I have to discard Frantic Search. Opponent digs 2. Like, Daze is basically dead, so it's between Foil and Frantic Search, and I think I'd rather get rid of the Frantic Search. My opponent can like 3-for-1 themselves if they want to actually do this, but like Frantic Search digs my opponent closer to Squee and stuff like that, so I imagine they're just gonna Arrow in the Worm here. We really need to find a white source, which is one of this deck's biggest weaknesses, right? I think I have exactly 11 white sources, which is not ideal. But yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of lucky. Like, we have a pretty heavy black deck, and we just managed to draw all of our white cards. Mongrel and Walla get in there, I imagine. Oh, no pump. Okay. All right, Arena, please. Hey. So basically the question is, do I want to Vindicate the Mongrel? And I think I do. And next turn I get to kill the Aragorn, or my opponent can like daze, like float a mana, daze, I pay, then they foil, discarding the land and the worm, and then they actually get to play the worm, which is pretty nice. I think that's probably worth doing. Feels like that's worth doing, just protecting the mongrel straight up. Because now we kill the mongrel, and now hopefully next turn I'm gonna get to just plow the Arrogant Worm. I'm gonna hold on to the Wasteland because I may need to verdict myself to gain some life. It's kind of a close game. This is 5 damage, assist, +1 from the arena. Let's see if my opponent pumps. I take up to 7. Okay, so just 5. And another mongrel. 3 cards in hand, so my opponent can foil if they need to. Ugh. So I guess I just get to do both things, but then I lose. So I can go verdict you, and then plow this, and I still take 6. So I'm still dead. I'm still dead here. It just took way too long to find the white source. Alright, so let's get Diabolic Edict, Mesmeric Fiend, Smother. Don't think I want Skull to the Scrying. I definitely want Arena. Probably want to take out at least a couple of verdicts, and I think I want a couple of decent for survival. Duress seems great. I don't want the random discard. I want the actually targeted discard. I think I can cut an arena, and I guess I just get rid of all the verdicts. Yeah, I have Mesmeric Fiend as well. Yeah, this seems fine. Okay, so let's see, because this matchup seems really bad for us, and this hand is just not going to do it. This hand is decent, though. So let's keep this, and I guess I'm gonna... Oh man, what to bottom here? I guess I have to bottom a land, but I really need that land. I guess I bottom a Vindicate. Man, that's rough. I definitely need to duress on 1, so that I can potentially take a careful study. Ooh, just a survival. So I guess that this... Oh, Gilded Drake. That's a problem. Let's play out the Root Dweller. Gilded Drake is actually very annoying. Just gonna pass the turn back here. My opponent's probably gonna attack. Just gonna Diabolic Edict right now. No reason not to. There's no need for me to take a point. So they play Mongrel, and I get to play Exalted Angel. Wild Mongrel. Removal would be great. Caves of Cold. So here's a Morph. And this is kind of nice because like my opponent can Gilded Drake, but then they just can't flip it. Oh, that daze off the top is devastating. Ugh, that daze is oof. that was a good daze. That was a good daze, particularly because I didn't know about it, right? So it was that much more of a surprise. All right, discarding Wonder. I don't think I agree with that discard of the Wonder. Like the 1 point of damage just doesn't matter. And like if I draw a Withered Wretch now, then like my opponent, like they could have drawn like a Frantic Search or something, right? Foil and Gilded Drake. Yeah, I'm gonna take the card that they can pass it back. So I guess I really want to draw another Exalted Angel. If I draw another Exalted Angel, then we're gonna be cooking. I don't have that much time. Squee. Yeah, that speeds up the clock. Removal? No removal. And we are probably just gonna die to these mongrels. I guess I could also draw a Withered Wretch, which takes care of both the Wonder and the Squee. But I'm not gonna be racing these mongrels. I wonder if my opponent's gonna discard Squee again. Yeah, okay. So that we know that they didn't draw an island because they should have held onto the Squee to discard to the foil. So we're dead next turn. I get a fine removal spell right here. Alright, yeah, we just... I mean, this is the issue with this deck, right? Like, you just draw the wrong part of the deck, and... Which is fine. I mean, it's just a mid-range deck. Like, the Rock has the same problem and whatnot. I'm not pumping there because the difference in damage doesn't do anything. And maybe if I don't pump, my opponent's going to respect a removal spell and give me 1 more draw step. Again, it's not like I can draw anything, because even if I do find an angel, I just don't have the time anymore. Okay, discard the squee. And are they going to go for it? They are. Okay. I'm not sure I agree with this. Probably. Maybe it's just fine to just go for it here. Alright, I'm just going to pump the knight. Good game, Cyberpunker. Yeah, this matchup just felt really kind of hopeless, honestly. This is not the matchup that we want to see. All right, so 3 and 2. Things I liked from the deck for Action Arena. This card was just as good as I expected it was going to be. It was just fantastic. Every time it came down, I just got a little sigh of relief, and it's just like, okay, things are going to be a grind from now on, but I'm going to slowly pull ahead. Jura's Verdict also was kind of great, and so was Duress / Swords to Plowshares. All of this stuff was great. Exalted Angel was also just game ending. Like, it was truly fantastic. I was impressed by this card. I am interested in seeing whether I can make it a little bit easier to cast, which brings me to what I liked the least, which was the mana base. The mana base was obviously, as expected, pretty bad. Like, I have multiple matches where I was stuck with a white card or two, sometimes even more than that, and I just did not find a black source for multiple turns. As is right now, we have access to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 white sources. That's definitely way on the low side, but with Taint Fields, it just makes things really awkward, because I really want to have access to a bunch of basic swamps to enable that. So maybe I just have to, I don't know, like maybe, it's counterintuitive, but like maybe add a field, cut a basic swamp. It's rough. It really is rough. Maybe I can also like add another City of Brass while cutting the basic planes. That could help potentially as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of tinkering needs to be done with the mana base to make it good and functional. But so that part was fine. Duress was fantastic. Removal was great. Withered Wretch was very good. Like, it ended up a bunch of games, which is cool. Nantuko Shade versus Knight of Stronghold. I honestly did not play enough matches to know what that's gonna go like most of the time. I think the Knight is pretty good, but like, we just did not really get paired against the deck. The Knight was good, which made it a little bit more awkward, and it felt like it was worse than the Shade. But you need to get paired against something like, I don't know, the Solution or something like that, and then you're going to be looking at you're going to be happy that you have your Knights in there. So I don't know about that. Vindicate was great. Skeleton Scrying was terrible. We did not get paired against a single Skeleton Scrying matchup, to be fair, but also it was always awkward and stuff like that. I wonder if I kind of want to make room for like a Disenchant in the main deck and just straight up throw the Scrying in the sideboard, just like a clean exchange. But yeah, the sideboard felt like it was kind of thrown together. Also, I could have just mulliganed to Engineer Plague versus Goblins, and that would have probably helped in that matchup, since our losses were to Goblins and Blue-Green Madness. As far as Madness goes, probably not too much to do there. You probably have to like pray that you draw a bunch of removal and you land an arena on 3, and somehow you just manage to keep up and you just go from there. But I don't think there's really realistically too much that you can do in that matchup. Like, that matchup just on paper seems just straight up terrible, right? Like, you're just literally playing into their game plan with your verdicts and stuff. It's rough. It's definitely rough. But yeah, the deck did perform pretty good. 3 and 2 is not terrible, particularly for a deck that I have, didn't play a single match with before recording this. So, to be fair, I was kind of careful to be thinking about, okay, what if I had like Dark Ritual, and I don't remember a single time where I was like, oh yeah, Dark Ritual would be great here, because that would have meant that I would have had to keep, like, maybe I had like arena hands, but that would have meant that I would have had to keep like a 1 or 2 lander. So at that point, Dark Ritual gets dazed, or like the arena gets dazed, and you just straight up lose the game on turn 1, which is like a little bit more all-in-y than I would like it to be. So again, this seems like something worth exploring, and I have not seen anybody try to do that. So it's probably interesting to try to see what's up, to try to see if there's something here. Maybe there isn't, but you can't know until you try it, right? That's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that if you are interested in joining the league, you can find information in the description of the video down below. You can also help the stream whenever you use the service of my supporters, TCG Player and Mana Traders. Again, use the links in the description of the video down below to help the channel for free. And finally, you can help the channel yourself through Patreon, through donations, through getting coaching. And that's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye, folks.